Hi everyone. Okay, so I'm going live on my personal page just because we were doing lives. Yesterday I found out that I could actually do lives on my on the actual event page of the 21 Day Soul Cleansing Journey. However, I realized that I was picking up more traffic on my personal page just because obviously like more people follow my personal story as opposed to this event, which only, it's not as big, but I see that it's much easier. See, my mom finally is able to hop on. So, what's that, Mama Nia? And I might actually invite you, Mama Nia, to talk to us today about the topic of trusting uncertainty, if that's something that you are interested in. If not, we can find another. There are plenty other topics this journey that you can hop onto if you're physically available. I know sometimes you have to kind of be in 14 places at once. So I understand that. So you let me know if you want to hop on, Mama Nia, and talk about trusting uncertainty. Otherwise, I'm going to give us just a minute or so to see if anyone else wants to hop on. But I am excited to talk about this day. I think as we continue on this journey, the best thing that we can try to practice in this sense, the first thing is going to be to trust uncertainty, because when you can trust something that you can't see and you walk by faith, not by sight, it's kind of in the way, then you can almost overcome just about anything else. So, it's a great practice. I do have my Flower of Life, Wisdom of Astar cards, so I'm pretty excited about that. And we also have our Be in Faith, the crystal bag. So today, who's with us is the good old picture Jasper. It's actually got like freckles and stuff, and it looks like tiger's eye a little bit, but it's not. It's Pixa Jasper, and it's really good for your third eye, great for visual strength, and all the Jaspers are all great for leadership. So this was also with us for visionary leadership also. I'm going to move this up like that little, I don't know why that bothers me. I guess I'd rather have the TV behind me. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But it really doesn't matter. But then we also have, of course, rose quartz. Rose quartz is always good to have. Try to have a little bit of rose quartz. This is a really cute pocket size. We also have a bigger one that my sister girl, Julia, brought back for me from India, and I'm so grateful, but I keep her at home because I need to I keep her in my car. I keep the big old rose quartz in my car because, when you're traveling, it's nice to have love. I think, especially as empaths, when you travel, I think, have a harder time traveling than I do, like in the car, as far as like feeling the energies, because I can like feel the energies from like towns around me, and I don't know, that's just me. So it might not be just me, you guys might feel that too, but that's why I like to keep my rose quartz in my car. But also a pocket size, always good, especially when you're on the journey of the fool's journey is what we call it, when you are reaching or following your authentic destiny. It is often called the fool's journey. Then we also have good old buddy old pal Howlite. This one has been a good friend because Howlite helps with managing emotions, helps with regulating emotions. So this has been in my pocket like the moment that we became friends. And so very good on that. So anyway, I thought I would share with you who our crystal buddies are joining us as we're talking about trusting uncertainty. And otherwise, I will dive right in. I was kind of bummed. I have a 21 Day Soul Cleansing podcast that is on SoundCloud, and it has been taken down. And I think it's because I upgraded one time and then didn't, and then stopped paying for it. And so they're like, we're going to take off all your stuff. So whatever. I will figure out a way to send the link because it is mine and SoundCloud doesn't get to keep the rights to my ish. So I am going to figure out a way to get my link, even if it's not through SoundCloud's platform. Oh, so the video keeps cutting off and saying error. I apologize about that. My computer I think technology right now is just not, it's just crazy. I'm gonna blame it on Mercury in retrograde. Just because my computer's been freezing, and I went live on the 21 Day Soul Cleansing Journey event page just now, and it totally froze as well. But I'm actually on my phones, so that's interesting. And I'm on Wi-Fi, so I don't know. Maybe it's the center's Wi-Fi. I don't know. Let me know if it keeps cutting in and out or if it is good. But I'll just keep on going, and hopefully what you catch is what you're supposed to catch, and, and then some. So we'll see. But the guest that I had on for our second annual of the 21 Day Soul Cleansing Journey last year, my friend Diana Heiss, and she's an artist, an entrepreneur. She's a professor at one of the well-known and well-respected arts universities, arts colleges in Kansas City, and she just had her second baby girl just recently. But when we had our interview last year for this day, for day 5 of Trusting Uncertainty, she shared a beautiful story on the podcast about her story of, just taking the leap of faith. And she got this grant to go do this film and to document this film, or create this film. And she ended up going to the middle of this island and lived there, knew no one, was by herself, and just totally, did her thing. And I just think that that's so beautiful. She also, in the podcast, she didn't really talk about her love story too much, but she shared with me like her love story and how she and her husband now and father of both her daughters they separated, and then they got back together, and then they had to figure, she went on this big old, journey to the islands and came back and realized, so much about herself, and now they both are able to share a really beautiful relationship together. And I think that is just so beautiful as well, because that's another version of trusting uncertainty. Sometimes you have to let go and just focus on your mission, and then trust that all will come through. And it's not like they broke up and then she was like, I trust we're going to get back together in a year. No, she just kind of trusted that she was going to be okay. And so I think that is just a beautiful thing, especially we all have our own personal reasons and our own personal journeys when it comes to love and whatnot. But, as far as just being able to, and I know Mom is always telling me this, just focus on you and let yourself shine and do your own thing, and trust that it will all make its way back to you. So much easier said than done. But as long as that's why we're sticking together, and that's why we're going to work on today some really good, we're just going to have some great, pull some great wisdom cards, some great meditations and talk about it. And if anyone wants to chime in about any stories of them, their stories of trusting uncertainty, or what they've learned and what's helped them with guiding them through unknown moments, and the fool's journey is what I like to call your authentic destiny. You have no idea what's going to come about. You have no idea, but if you just take that leap of faith, then the universe has your back. That's a huge story of my own in so many different ways, as far even just like in my own creative arts profession, like, obviously as a creative artist and a healing artist too, and an intuitive expresser for the collective, and trying to like add all of that, as well as using other holistic, naturalistic healing practices, that can be extremely nerve-wracking, especially when it's so much more accepted to just take whatever the doctor gives you, or to go buy some over-the-counter drugs, or to, just not even try to be the artist within you, and fall back on a job that pays consistently and can pay your bills. And I'm not dogging that life at all. I'm not saying dogging doctors. I'm not dogging pharmaceuticals. I'm not dogging over-the-counter drugs. I'm not dogging, secure income, because as an artist, I would love to have some secure income, right? It'd be great. But at the same time, the fool's journey is about being able to trust that all that is needed will be supplied, not a second sooner, not a second later. And if we can train our brains, the soul cleansing journey is about training our brains to trust. As much as we live in so much security in this as a first world, nation, we also live in a lot of fear, and we live in a lot of I guess uncertainty, anxiety. Anxiety comes from not trusting the future. Anxiety comes from not trusting yourself within, and anxiety comes from not trusting universe. And so this is such a good practice in all aspects of your life, not just in your healing practice, not just in your what job to take, or what career path to move towards, or what your romantic life is going to be. And this is just about any moment, any aspect in our lives where we feel that we can't be our authentic self, when we can't make those choices for our authentic highest being. That's where the practice of trusting comes into, and trusting that unknown will prevail through. Because if you are trusting in love instead of fear, then love is what's going to come back to you. And at the root of all experiences is love. And so, we're always trusting. I think this is what is coming through right now, is that we're always trusting, but it's a matter of whether we're trusting love or if we're trusting fear. And sometimes we have to really depict on whether or not we are trusting the right thing for us. And obviously, love is always going to be the right choice. And as yesterday we talked about forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is a boundary. And so you can trust in love, trust from a place of love, and still have the boundary of I don't want you to do this to me again. I won't let you. Or, you know, I trust in uncertainty, but and I trust in the name of love, but I also am realizing where my responsibilities are too. So I may want to, continue on with this ministry of ascendance tour, the performance of conscious love, right? I may want to, and I may totally trust in the sake of love, in all of the fool's journey that I'm going on right now, that so many people might be calling me crazy for choosing that I'm choosing. But I also then have to be mindful of the reality of that trust too. So I can't just I trust that it's all going to come to me. I'm just going to sit back and eat my Cheetos. No, that's not trusting in inspired action. That's kind of, what's the word? Blindly trusting, or not blindly trusting, ignorantly trusting maybe. You're saying you're trusting, but then you're not doing anything to meet the universe. So in order to align with the universe, in order to align with your soul's purpose, you have to meet it. That's why it's called aligning. It's not like, yo, I'm over here, come at me. You have to align. You have both synergetically meet each other in the middle. And I can see I'm kind of cutting out. So hopefully we can get through this whole thing. So I love that. I want to, before we pull some cards, I think we might just make it a short one today, but that's okay. Unless you guys have anything that you want to share, you want to interact, I'm always down for that too. So what I want to share with you is this beautiful mantra that I kind of practice and habitualize some of it, but I used to go to, perfect in synchronicity, right? I used to go to a surrender yoga class. And just the name itself is exactly what I need, because I have a hard time of surrendering. And so that's why this day of trusting uncertainty is so much prevalent of my soul cleansing journey as well. Like I said, this 21-day soul cleansing journey is the last 8 years of my own personal soul cleansing journey that I just whatever word is for that, wrapped it up in a 21-day journey. And then I'm trying to wrap this 21-day journey up into a 30 to 90 minute performance segment for universities and students. So that's how it is. That's called the fool's journey, right? Anyway, so this mantra, this surrender class, the surrender yoga class, and beautiful, strong-powered yogi, Miss Electra, and she will always remain so strongly in my heart. She would read Centering Thoughts, and I still have yet to go to and find a yoga class like hers. And she would read these centering thoughts as we were in our surrender poses, which surrender class is also known as the yin class. So we just kind of sat in these poses for 3 minutes. And that's a long time when you're in these deep stretch poses, but sometimes they just feel so good. Sometimes you're just laying on your back and you're just receiving the energies of love. And that's why it's called surrender. So, and sometimes that's actually the hardest thing for us to do as people, because we're in a fast pace, go, 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 go. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to complete this. I have to achieve that. And so to surrender is a great practice to stay in stillness. And Eckhart Tolle has a really beautiful book called Stillness Speaks. highly recommend it. I recommend all of Eckhart's books, but his book Stillness Speaks is so good, and it talks about the voice that lives within, and to surrender to what is a really beautiful practice of trusting uncertainty. And so these mantras she would say, I breathe freely, I breathe fully, I breathe deeply, I breathe freely, fully, and deeply. And I actually now modify that one for my crown chakra mantra when I'm meditating on my crown chakra, and or cleansing it, clearing it, balancing it. And I would say I live freely, fully, and deeply. I say I cleanse my crown chakra with healthy, maturing, and balanced, whatever, quartz. I usually do amethyst and gold, because those are the colors that match your crown. And to cleanse it with healthy, maturing, and balanced divine authenticity, because that is what your crown chakra helps you with, and expressing and embracing, is your divine essence, is the you beyond this form, this world, this content. And so amethyst helps you tap into that. The gold helps you with, recognizing that, we are the minerals beneath all of this surface. And then I say, I choose to live freely, fully, and deeply in my divine authenticity. And I release the attachment to these, earthly matters, these connections, these, romantic connections, social connections, this need for security on this like content formality of money and housing and clothes and acceptance and all this stuff. So releasing that. And so perhaps I do believe that this is and maybe that's why it's calling me to talk about the crown chakra today. Yesterday, or not yesterday, but day 3, we were talking about our third eye. And that was the day of releasing disempowering beliefs. And so right now, as we're learning how to trust uncertainty, we, especially the unknown is another word for it, to allow ourselves to release these attachments of this worldly matter, releasing the need to stay attached to all of these things and these people and these places. And that's hard. That's hard because we are social creatures. That's hard because we survive based off of connectivity. So it's not about isolating yourself and then, just like never eating and living naked and being alone. It's about releasing the attachment to it, releasing this need to be so attached to these things. Because when we release the need of attachment to them, we then release the identification with them, which allows us to then live freely, fully, and deeply in our divine authenticity, our divine destiny, our divine essence, the love that we are. And so another mantra she said that I forgot about, and I'm so glad that we're going back to this, but she would have us say, and you can even say it back to yourself right now, I trust the process of life. I trust the process of love. I trust the process of light. Sorry. And so I if we can allow ourselves to say, I'm going to say that again, and I apologize because, that's why I'm trying to get my own space. Just kidding. Because, sharing the space is fine, but, while I'm in the middle of a mantra, it's kind of, anyway, it doesn't matter. I trust the process of life. I trust the process of love. I trust the process of light. I breathe freely, fully, and deeply in harmony. You can even add on to your own mantras, in harmony with life, with love, and with light. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And the beauty of mantras, the beauty of centering thoughts, the beauty of affirmations is that it changes literally the frequency of our own body's crystallization. What? That's what Indigo says nowadays. What? But so what does that mean? Changing the frequency of your body's crystallization? What that means is our bodies are filled with 70% water, something in that realm. I think it's 70%. And if that's how much water that we are filled with, water crystallizes. And, there has been studies that have shown that how literally just the attention towards water changes the crystallization of it. So they did this experiment of filling up a jar of water and talking at it. Legitimately, this is an experiment, talking at the water, being like, I hate you, you suck, you are nothing, right? And putting this energy into this water. And then the water was gunky and disgusting. And then they did the same experiment with another jar of water, and they would talk love to the water. They say, you're beautiful, I love you, thank you. And that water would crystallize so beautifully. I mean, it had snowflake crystals. And then they did the same. I think it was just those two. I don't know if they did another one that was indifferent. I don't know. But I know that those two made the difference. And it was you could see the difference. And think about what happens when we do that to ourselves, especially if we have over half our body is made of water and we are putting gunk. We're putting, our affirmations are negative, and we're, and sometimes again, it's just, especially since this is a healing through our adversity, healing through our traumas, our brains chemically change to survive after having traumatic experiences. And so if we are feeling anxious, or if we're feeling attacked, our brains are saying, oh my God, I'm attacked. Oh my God, I'm under attack. Oh my God, I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not safe. And that's how our adrenalines get all high and crazy, and our cortisol freaks out. And we just go into straight and utter paralysis out of panic. But when we can train our brain, and this is something personally that I have done to help my own anxiety. Again, I'm not saying I'm this clinical psychologist and you have to do this and this is going to heal you. I mean, I'm not here to diagnose you, to heal you, to prevent anything, to do anything. I'm here to share with you my experience and some practices that I've put into place, and how it's helped me, and how it continues to help me on a daily basis, and how I'm still human and I'm still feeling these things, and I still have to practice them. And so literally, I started making the mantra when I was feeling, attached to a person, my old relationship or something like that. To my relationships. If I was feeling attached to it, I would feel possessive over that person, and I would feel like I couldn't live without this person. And I'd have to say, I am safe. I am secure. I am nurtured. I am comforted. And that's another mantra for the root chakra. So perhaps today, what we need to focus on is our crown and our root, because our crown, again, we know our crown is our divine, authentic, expressive, purest, highest self beyond this form. Whereas the root is our foundation physically in this form. So building that foundation of life in this 3D physical matter is our root, is our first chakra. And then you have our seventh, which is essentially our last chakra, right? And so to say, I am safe, to repeat that over and over, and to breathe. I breathe freely. I breathe fully. I breathe deeply. I trust the process of life. I trust the process of love. I trust the process of light. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. That will help with grounding us, right? Grounding us. And then also releasing the attachment to what it is that we are feeling threatened by, releasing the identification of whatever it is that we are feeling defines us. When facing uncertainty, just remember that you are never misguided by the source creator of love. No matter how uncomfortable your current position is, you are a child of God. And you will always be protected when walking on your road to conscious love. I needed to hear that. I received that message. That was a letter from my past self to my future self, from my future self to my past self, and from my higher self to my physical self, and to all of y'all as well. So I hope you receive that message as well. I receive that. I receive that. And what we say and put into our bodies is what will come about, is what crystallizes in this world, is what crystallizes within. So just remember that, my beloveds. All right, then we're going to go into some wisdom cards and see what our ancestors want to tell us, what our spirit guides, what our, all of the above. Our earth angels, our higher self. Who wants to talk to us, and what do we want to hear from them? So, ancestors, as I split the deck, I get my favorite card here, soulmates. What do you want us to know today? What is a message for our divine collective on this day of trusting uncertainty? What do we want? What do you want us to know about trusting uncertainty? What do you want us to know about trusting uncertainty? Beautiful. Angels of love, light, protection, forgiveness, healing, transcendence, conscious love. What do you want us to know? What do you want us to know about trusting uncertainty? So let's see. This one wanted to come out. I'm going to just pull you. What do you want us to know about trusting uncertainty? Divine source, creator of love, light, healing, Ascendants, what do you want us to know? That's too many. I'm going to pull you out because you're sticking out. And I guess you wanted to come too. Okay. So I try to keep to pull 3. And she's back on the top of the deck, Mr. Soulmates. So trusting uncertainty about soulmates. We just need to recognize that the people that come into our lives for a reason. The lovers that come into our life reflect our love, our higher self. The higher purpose of relationships is to mirror the love that you are and melt away any walls or resistance to love. And I just want, like, y'all saw me just like shuffle this, and I saw it when I split the deck and I put it back in. I shuffled. I took out these cards and she's back on the top of the deck. So someone wants us to know about love, about soulmates, and trusting uncertainty for this day. And if it's at the top of the deck, I'm going to say it's our higher self, okay? And that's what I'm just going to say, because that's what I'm feeling. Our higher self wants us to know that the higher purpose of relationships is to mirror the love that you are and to melt away any walls or resistance to love. So I feel like it doesn't matter who you are in love with. It doesn't matter who you are lovers with. It doesn't matter who you are soulmates with. The relationships in our lives are here to teach us. The purpose of the relationships in our lives are here to teach us how to melt away the walls of resistance to love. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. And sometimes we put so much pressure on, is this person in love with me? Will this person be with me? Am I going to be alone or am I going to be with someone? At the end of the day, what matters is, did you take the relationships that were in your life as the higher purpose that it was intended for? To help you melt away the walls of resistance to love. And a lot of that, that's perfect and trusting uncertainty. That makes sense, duh. Like, especially, of course, soulmates is going to pop out in trusting uncertainty, because the fool's journey in love is, do I fall in love or do I run? Because it's a lot easier to run. Because I don't know anything about this person, or I'm learning about this person. What if this person doesn't like what knows about me? What if I don't like what I know about this person? The more we get to know each other, and then it's just easier to run. It's easier to find fault and to be like, no, I don't like this, and that about you. I'm a jet. As opposed to being like, I see that this, and this is about you. And I also see that this and this and this is about you. And I feel uncomfortable. I feel nervous about this new journey, this soulmate journey, or even just being in a relationship. It could just be friends too. We shoo away our friends as well at the moment we start seeing the very first flaw in them, right? This is like moving. I'm like, squirrel. I move too much when I talk. This is what I love this. Love is a state of being, of balance. It reminds you of your completeness, the wonderment of a whole you. Breathe love in and breathe love out. I breathe freely, fully, and deeply in love. That's beautiful. Make a conscious effort to be a lover of life. And you will feel like you are making love in every moment. Being in love is your natural state of being. That's your natural state. So all of those like faults and fears that we find in people when we are, or even in life or in ourself. So I love this when it comes to trusting uncertainty. Our natural state of being is love. And when we're in this space, we will meet the souls of others who have awakened their heart centers. And that doesn't mean that everyone's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean everyone's going to be flawless. It doesn't mean people aren't going to irritate you. It doesn't mean that you're not going to find faults and mistakes in them. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that they're going to all of a sudden be able to read your mind and just like perfectly treat you like the way exactly you want to be treated. Like, we teach people how to treat us. And so when we come and engage in the world from a place of trusting worthiness. Trustworthiness. I just put those together. When we engage in the world from a place of trusting worthiness, aka trustworthiness, we allow people to be who they are, trusting that their intentions are good, trusting that we are brave and can walk in this fool's journey and not be so weary about whether or not they're going to hurt us, and then we hurt them before they hurt us so that we don't get, fooled, or we run before they get a chance to hurt us because we don't want to feel what it's like to feel hurt, especially if you felt heartbreak before. Oh my God, right? The fear of rejection. What if I tell this person this part about me? What if they reject me? I'd rather just live in silence. I'd rather die in silence than to actually live and say what I wanted to say. But here's the thing, you guys. What if that thing, and since we're talking about soulmates right now, I'll get to these. But since our higher self wants us to talk about soulmates right now, what if that person that we want to run from died tomorrow? And I'm not trying to get morbid. I'm not trying to put that into the universe. God forbid. May we be blessed and protected and our loved ones be blessed and protected. But what if we died tomorrow and that person never knew how we felt about them? What would we say? What would we be so afraid of? What would we be so sad if we didn't say to that person? So just think about that for a moment when we're thinking about trusting uncertainty. Would it matter so much that we got rejected, even if that meant we said what was on our heart, even if that meant we said what we really wanted to say, even if that meant they said, I don't feel the same way. Or if you didn't dive into that, relationship wholeheartedly, and then the world ended. What if the world ended before you actually got to say or do that thing that you are afraid of doing or saying to that person or to that thing or to that journey because of the fear of trusting uncertainty? If we let that fear stop us in our tracks and the world ended, would you be okay with the way that life ended? Or would there be a part of you that's like, damn, I wish I just said it, even if that person shut the door in my face? I wish I listened to my heart. I wish I took that leap of faith. I know I'm going hella heavy, but this is the soul cleansing journey. This ain't the sugars and roses journey where I'm saying everything is all right. But sometimes we have to really look at those questions in ourselves. And I do too. I don't want to have this conversation with myself. That's why my higher self is coming out in public. So I have to look at it. I can't just like shove it, you know? So that's something that's interesting to really look at. Okay. Thank you, higher self. Clear. Clear that energy. And on the bottom of the deck is meditation. So there you go. So if we need more answers, go meditate. To trust, this is the bottom of the deck. So I'm going to say this is a message from like our earth angels for those who are 6 feet under, right? The bottom of the deck. It just feels right now. 6 feet under / like ethers higher, right? Ethers beyond. So let ourselves meditate. And we got this card the other day too. Let ourselves meditate on trusting uncertainty. What is it that we are afraid to trust? Is it in our relationships? And then let that creative brilliance, that creative answer come through. Okay, so what have we got here? So we also, guides and angels. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Ooh, before I read this, I'm gonna see what feedback Mama Nia has. The more we become whole within ourselves, we can trust our feelings about others. Look at what we're seeking from another, and are we getting it from within? Yeah, are we getting it from within first? Not depending on someone else to fulfill it. We'll never be satisfied. That's very true. Yes. Yes. Amen to that. That's very true. So I think that's beautiful, and that's why this soulmate card came through, of saying that the purpose of a lover is to reflect your love, your higher self. The higher purpose of a relationship is to mirror the love that you are. And everything we do is a relationship in itself. And so I think that this is something that, I think it's so beautiful. We definitely, as we're practicing, this is a soul cleanse journey. So we're practicing how to embrace and engage in the world from a place of worthiness, which means that self-love, that self-care, to trust in ourselves. If we can't trust in something externally, if we can't trust people, and I think it was my daily affirmations today that really hit it on the spot, which is perfect for today, was, when we come into the world, when we engage in the world from a place of cynicism as opposed to worthiness, we are putting on this armor, like Brene Brown talks about, this armor that keeps us from being vulnerable. And because we're afraid that we're going to be seen as weak if we're being vulnerable. If we trust in uncertainty, we fear that we're going to be leaping in this fool's journey, and then we're going to fall on our face. And is it Brene Brown that says catastrophizing yourself is when you pull away from something before the actual result happens, because of the fear of that result not being something that you want it to be. For instance, in love, like when, she says, she kind of looked at it in the sense of like when you look at your baby and you look at your baby sleeping and you get this rush of emotion and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know I could love this much. And then all of a sudden you start thinking about the baby dying and then you're like, holy shit. And then you like freak out, and then you're like so like even more attached to this baby, right? And you're so afraid to love that much because then you're like, I don't want to lose that. I'm afraid to love this much because I'm afraid of how much it will hurt if I lose that love. And that is where I think people believe, like, have just, settled on this belief, whether it's false or true or whatever. It's this belief that true love is non-existent, that conscious love doesn't even make sense, that, true conscious love, divine love is just for fairy tales, right? And I do believe that it's there, but we're so afraid to go into that depth of love because of how much it would hurt, how much it would just shred us if we lost that depth of love. And if you felt that love before, so I guess today we're going to be talking about love, but we're also talking about self-love, and we're talking about why we want that from another person, like Mama Nia said, why do we want it from that other person? Are we able to give it to ourselves? Are we able to engage in the world from a place of worthiness so that we can even receive that love and, and really be able to reciprocate that love? And you can't do any of that if you don't know how to receive and reciprocate that love to yourself. No, you also can't do that if you aren't able to open yourself up to even being willing to trust that that love is even existent. And because it hurts too bad to be like, well, if it's there, then why am I not here? Why is it not in my life? If it's there, then why did I lose it? If it's possible for everyone, right? But it is, because it's the matter of like, how aligned are you in your soul purpose? Love is the reflection of your higher self. Relationships are the reflection of your your divine love that you are. And so if it feels like your relationships, this is so weird, I'm sorry. I don't even know if this like makes a difference. But, if you're, sorry, squirrel, totally lost thought. But if your relationships in this life, I'm learning and doing my best to accept this perspective of, if our relationships were where we wanted them to be, if we were with the person that we truly, truly love, if we were, healthy in all of our relationships, our family relationships, our friendships, things like that, that would be a reflection of how we are in alignment with ourselves and how we are in alignment with our soul's calling and our soul's purpose in this world. And so perhaps this is just a perspective to consider. If we're not in that space, if we're not with who we want to be with, if we're not where we, if our relationships in all aspects of our lives are not in a healthy manner, and sometimes people don't want to be in a healthy relationship, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's part of their healing journey, and there's nothing we can do about it. They gotta feel the pain in order for them to heal, and they gotta live in that space until they decide they don't want to anymore. And there's nothing we can do. But the mantras of I trust in the process of life, I trust in the process of love, I trust in the process of light. Right? And I love myself, right? And so, and to not take it personally, if someone cannot give you the love that you want from them, or that you even know that they have to give if they can't see it. But, that's what I'm hoping that this journey can help us. The more I share this 21-day soul cleansing journey, the more I share my own journey and working and creating, coping through my own trauma and through survival and into forgiveness. I hope that we can all find that space where we can start to begin to align with our soul's purpose, our soul's desire, our soul's love. Because when we get in alignment with that, when we get into balance and harmony with our bliss work, our authentic destiny, and what we can control within ourselves, like Mama Nia said, if we can get it from within first and not depending on someone else to fulfill it for us, that's when it's not a relationship out of manipulation. It's not a relationship out of codependency. That's when it can be that true, divine, conscious love. And that feels impossible because it feels we have been living in this false belief that we can't live in bliss. We can't live in our authentic bliss work. It's not feasible. It's not tangible. It's not secure. But that belief is the same belief that made the water all fugly, as opposed to the people who we see, who are glowing, who are living in peace and truth and harmony, and they live abundantly and beautiful. And some of them don't live in this big old fancy house and all these awesome things, but they still have this beautiful peace, or they have this beautiful connection with their divine loved ones. And their life is so simple. Why? Because they are living in alignment with themselves and with their truth. Living in your authentic destiny is nothing more but living in your truth. And that is tangible. And that is worthy and necessary. So trust in that uncertainty of living in your truth. That's all that you need in order to live in alignment with your purpose. Okay? And I think these are so beautiful, these cards that were pulled. Guides and angels. Let love in. Or, I mean, let light in, but what's the difference these days, right? Let light in and weave your life. Those are beautiful. Guides and angels. So of course, obviously, we have, this is our wisdom card. So for to have our earth angels talking about meditation and our higher self talking about soulmates, of course our guides and angels are going to pop out. And the very first sentence says, let go of any resistance. Ooh, let go of that distrust to uncertainty. Let go of any resistance. And be the beautiful light being that you are, and open to the energies of your heart. Again, it talks about sitting at any time today. Sit for just a few moments in meditation and feel the activation of love. And then it goes into light. Feel the waves of pulsating and liquid light embracing you with universal love, wisdom, and strength. Okay? Imagine that you see yourself. See your higher self, your angels, guides, light beings, and loved ones. Imagine that you see yourself the way that your higher self, your angels, guides, light beings and loved ones see the essence of you. And for this moment, see yourself through these eyes. And feel your mind and body let go of anything that may be holding you back from being the wonderment of you. Breathe this into your body and feel yourself being fully grounded of this world, but with a new perspective. I hope that today, this conversation helps you go into the world from here on with a new perspective. That, beloved, you are worthy of trust. And I read this, and I think this was also part of the daily affirmation today, that all that we are not able to trust and believe in, if we have a hard time trusting another person, if we have a hard time believing that other people's intentions are pure, or of our better interest, of our good interest, right? If we have a hard time believing in good faith in others, that is a reflection on how much we believe in ourselves, how much we believe in our worth. And when we look at it from that perspective, at least for me, it changes everything. It changes everything. Beautiful. The colors associated are green and pink, of course, so that's your heart space. Pink, we usually see a lot of green. Let me see what these colors are today. Green, it's kind of a gold, kind of like a misty gold. So this part of our heart space, and this is beautiful, that makes sense. Pink, that is associated with the forgiveness, the trust, the compassionate part of our heart space. Trusting in our creative brilliance, trusting in forgiveness and unconditional love. And then, of course, the green is the balance. That's the balance part of our heart space from our solar plexus, which is our authentic divine intuition and our being, self-determining, our self-willpower to trust in our path. And then our throat to manifest it into existence. Beautiful. And then some more green. So we know what that means, balance from the metaphysical, our non-physical self and our physical self. And then our heart space is that balance. And white is our eighth chakra, I like to call it. It's also associated with our crown, our seventh chakra, but our eighth chakra of our God consciousness, of that source creator. And of course, here we go. Let light in. Sit quietly. So we have a lot of reflection time that is being asked for us in order to trust. That's our message for today, of trusting uncertainty. Go within. Talk to your guides. Talk to your higher self. Talk to your inner child. It says, if you can sit quietly in front of a window, okay? So then it says to ask the window, how do I allow light and love to enter my being? How do I allow light and love to enter my being? That's a good question. That's a good journal question for today. How do I allow light and love to enter my being? And then it says to feel that love and light pouring in you as your favorite color, which I love because behind me, it's the way that it's reflecting in the mirror, in the camera. It looks like indigo, which I love that color. But then, all the colors, right? But choose the favorite one that you're feeling. And then step into the light of your essence. Love, wisdom, and bliss become you. And then as you look through the window, look into the world with a new perspective, like the guides and angels suggested. So that's a pair. That's perfect. That goes perfect. And then, of course, weave your life. This is perfect. You're standing on the edge of everything you desire. Take a step or a leap into what the mind perceives as the unknown, and you will pull toward you all that you dream about and desire. Okay, you guys, they are talking to us. Our wisdom guides are talking to us. Our ancestors are talking to us. Our angels are talking to us. This is exactly what we needed to hear today for trusting uncertainty. You are standing on the edge of everything you desire. Take a step or a leap, the fool's journey, right? Into what the mind perceives as the unknown, and you will pull toward you all you dream about and desire. Create, create, create. You are a work of art in progress. Weave a different web full of your dreams and desires and be willing to meet them when they arrive. Get yourself ready by knowing they are on their way and by being present in each moment. So that's what Mama Nia talks about, of self-care, self-love. You have to prepare yourself for the love. You don't say, "Oh, I'll do the work when my lover gets here." No. Because guess what? Your lover's not going to want to wait around while you're acting a fool, right? You want to prepare yourself. So by doing that, you cleanse, you release the baggage of your past, you release the fears, you reset, recycle those toxic, disempowering conditions and weave them out of your life and weave in the desires of your truest, highest purpose, of your love, of the essence, the wisdom, and the bliss that you are, as you get yourself ready to know that they are on their way for you, right? I hear you. I receive this too. Your life is happening now, and you're weaving the direction of your life in this moment. Where would you like your life to go? The choice is yours. Spiral inward. There's that meditation again. Spiral inward and feel your wonderment. So we have to, just like Mama Nia said too, we have to feel, we have to embrace, and we have to fully believe that we are worthy of the love and the life that we want. And how do we do that? We prepare ourselves by giving ourselves the love to us first. Okay. Learning how to be present in each moment. That's how we trust uncertainty. We say that in this moment, I am safe. And I will be safe in the next moment, because now it's the next moment I'm still safe, right? And you say, I trust the process of life. I trust the process of love. I trust the process of light. I am safe. I breathe freely, fully, and deeply. I am safe as I am. I am safe in my truth. I am safe in the unknown. I am divinely guided and protected. And you use those words of affirmations. You use those words of light. You use those words of love to crystallize within you, creating this beautiful purification of your own perfect, unique wonderment of your authentic destiny of bliss and harmony and creation. And that concludes our 5th day of the 21-day soul cleansing journey. So if you want any more extra journal questions, what are some uncertainties that are keeping you from living in the flow with your authentic destiny? What are some uncertainties that you're having a hard time with leaping into, leaping towards? And what can you do today that can open you up towards that which you truly want? And then let's see what feedback of Mama says too. Mama Nia says, trust and uncertainty of love and relationships. Maybe she's saying trust the uncertainty of love and relationships. Question why we keep attracting negative, dysfunctional relationships. How to learn and acquire healthy instincts, intuition, to trust our heart and mind, to know if it's safe, getting to know myself. For real, took 6 years and counting to do this, looking back on patterns, what I was taught about love and self-worth, protecting, practicing Kuan Yin. Yes. Give and receive love. So she says, put your right, sounds like this is a practice. You put your right hand out to receive love, and your left hand up to block negative intent and energy. There you go. I love that. Yes, absolutely. Those are reflections that we have to allow ourselves to look at. What is it? That is the journal question that we were just asking at the same time. So, asking why, what are the uncertainties that are keeping relationships to feel dysfunctional? And like we said earlier in the conversation as well, is, if our relationships are dysfunctional, it's because there's something out of alignment with our own self. So until we can, allow our truth to be expressed, until we can live in alignment and balance with our truth, then our relationships that are dysfunctional are going to continue, because our relationships reflect on parts of ourselves. Not all relationships. Not relationships reflect on all of who we are. But if there's relationships do reflect on parts of ourselves. So if there is a particular relationship or multiple relationships, or just one that you really want to transcend, and then yes, we'll go within and ask yourself, and go within, talk to your guides and angels, meditate. Ask yourself, how can I allow light and love to enter my being? And take the next best step to weave your life in the direction that you want it. And that attunement to your truth is what's going to bring forth the healthy relationships that you want. Beautiful. So thanks for watching, everyone. And until tomorrow at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I appreciate you. I admire you. And I'm very proud of y'all for tuning in, for watching, for listening, even if it's just for a small moment. This is not an easy journey. The soul cleansing journey. You got to purge. That's why it's called a cleanse. If you ever did a detox or nutrition detox, what happens when you have that detox? You got to purge that ish, literally. And so this is the same essence. So we have to be able to look at those parts of ourselves that are not the prettiest parts so that we can release them. We can disidentify with them. We can detach from them and realize that I am not those aspects I'm not those aspects. Those are aspects of me, but I am not. That does not define me. And I don't have to believe that anymore. I don't have to continue to attach myself onto that anymore. So you get to choose. You get to choose to jump and leap into this, journey of uncertainty, of your bliss work, of your blissful, authentic destiny. Or you can, choose another route. You can choose love or you can choose fear. Until then, peace and love. I'm going to choose as much as I can. Good night.